Well, thank you for everyone for joining us today for the final edition for the year of Learn with Google. And this month we're talking about showcasing student work with a digital portfolio. We have the usual gang of suspects here, myself and Steve. Hi, Steve.
Hello, how are we doing?
Very well. Steve, I'm going to get you to do this next slide. Hang on, if I can get to the next slide. To me, desk's open. Where are we here? This one. Yeah, there you go. So I'll get you to do this if you don't mind.
Nice one. Te Māori ora, ina maunga whakahi ana wai tuku kiri, ki te tupuna tēnā koe tēnā koutou katoa. So respect to wherever your mountains are and acknowledging that many waters join us. So welcome everyone. It's great to have you all in, whether you're watching live or watching a recording.
Thank you. That's a beautiful picture of Aotearoa as well, by the way.
Great one, isn't it?
Really is, yeah. You can really see the landscape. And of course, from this side of the ditch, we would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the lands upon which we meet. And for me today, it's the Kulin Nation. I'm down in Melbourne at the moment. But wherever it is for you, we'd like to acknowledge those traditional owners of the lands on which we're meeting, whose cultures and customs have nurtured and continue to nurture this land. And of course, we honour the presence of the ancestors who reside in the imagination of the land. As usual, this is the entire Google for Education team, and you can see Steve and my smiling faces there, but we've got a whole bunch of other people on the team that do various things. So just know, if you're dealing with the Google for Education team, there's a whole lot of us behind the scenes making the magic happen. Today, we're going to talk about a few things. I just want to let you know about a back to school thing we're doing for the start of next year. We're going to spend the first part of today talking about student portfolios in Google Sites, and I've actually organised for a bunch of teacher friends to come and join us today and share some of the student portfolios that they've actually been doing. So I'm trying to get you to have a look at some real examples of how these things get used. Of course, we'll do our usual what's new with Google for Education, and I've also got a couple of BARD updates as well. I thought we'd throw those in as well to keep you updated on what's happening with the generative AI stuff from Google. And as always, if we have time at the end, we'll have some questions. All right. So I just want to let you know that heading back to school in 2024, we're putting together our usual back to school event. We try and do one of these every year. Pardon me. And this year we are taking the theme of designing learning in a technology-enabled classroom. And we want to particularly be talking about how you actually design learning. Like, what does that actually mean when you've got a bunch of technology in your classroom, hardware, software? How does that change the teaching landscape, and what does it look like when it's effective? So we're doing it in two parts. So on Friday, January the 19th, we're doing like just a 1.5 hour session, and we're focusing on the idea of what does effective teaching and learning look like in a technology-enabled classroom. So we'll be having some good discussions and some good examples of that. And then we're giving you the weekend to then come back on Monday. We may set you a little bit of optional homework over that weekend if anyone wants to do it. But come and join us again on the Monday, again for another 1.5 hours, where we're doing a session on like, how do you know when your students are truly engaged and the learning is meaningful? So we'll be talking a lot about sort of SAMR model and that kind of thing, but really digging into it to unpack what that means or what that looks like in a digital classroom. The link is there on the screen if you want to get more information or register to join us for that. So it's bit.ly/ Google-BTS 2024, Back to School 2024. The link is there, and there's also the QR code if you want to jump on a phone and do it. So yes, we'll revisit that at the end and just remind you again, but that is our Back to School event for next year. Alrighty, student portfolios in Google Sites. Google Sites is an amazing tool. It's part of the Google Suite, the Workspace Suite. And, you know, I think everyone's pretty familiar with docs and sheets and slides and those kinds of tools, but we've got this amazing tool called Google Sites, which lets you assemble a web page. And I've got a little diagram here that I put together. If you think about Google Sites, that's that icon over on the left-hand side, there's kind of two components of it. As you're building something, you get to think about the design. In other words, what does the thing look like? And also the content, what do you put into it? And I think the really nice thing about Google Sites is it's got some really fantastic design features, including a whole bunch of pre-made content. You can see those little sample blocks there where you can drag in content blocks, and it pre-makes the whole page for you. You just have to drop the content on. But as well as that, you can add things now like collapsible groups. So if you want to do like a, something, you click on it and it expands to show more stuff. You've got that option now. Table of contents has been added to sites over the last 12 months at least. An image carousel, where you can have an image carousel that when you put multiple images in and they change automatically. But buttons and dividers and spaces, social links, that's a new one. So if you want to add in things like your link to your Twitter or X, whatever they call it these days, your Facebook and your Instagram, you can put your social links into a site now as well. And of course, up the top there, things like adding text boxes and images and embedding content from other places, that's all really well supported as well. Over on the other side, the content, I think this is where it gets really interesting from a portfolio perspective, that during the course of the year, your students probably do lots of work in Workspace. They'll write stories and essays and poems and things in Google Docs, and they might create some spreadsheets where they're collecting data from a science experiment and manipulating that data to tell the story of the data. They might be generating graphs from that data. They may be creating slide presentations where they're presenting information and so on. They could be creating Google Forms. There's a whole bunch of stuff that students create in the course of a year, as well as, of course, things like Calendar and YouTube and Google Maps, in being able to embed content from anywhere, pretty much anything in your Google Drive. The neat thing about sites that I think sets it apart from a lot of other web building tools is that the support for all of those other Google tools is built right into sites. So it's really trivially simple for a student to create a site and then embed all of the content that they've created elsewhere. And that's what makes it really interesting from a portfolio point of view. It becomes this container that can hold all of the other pieces of work. So I hope that makes sense. Steve, did you want to make any comments or have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, look, one of the great uses I've seen is our buddy Michael Davidson, where he builds his own breakout edu pages on a site. Uses the breakout section with forms, puts in YouTube links, website links, maps links, all that stuff into the site. So you can actually build an amazing little task or gamified learning piece with sites as well, using all that stuff you've talked about. And I think that the left-hand side with those bits that are ready-made for you means that someone like me doesn't have to drag things bigger and smaller and spend an hour trying to make them equal spacings. You can put the bit in, spaces out nicely for you. So if you're that sort of person, super, super helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. I've just flicked back to our other screen. I see we've been joined by Mary McEverly Butler. Thank you. Hi, Mary. And also Jodie McDonald, who's also going to join us today. Hi, Jodie. Thanks for joining. So we're going to have a look at a couple of actual sites. The other thing I just want to mention about creating Google Sites is that it scales completely easily between a website, a website for a PC or a tablet or a Chromebook, or like a web-based presentation in a browser, to a tablet, to a phone app. So regardless of what device you're actually viewing it on, it scales takes care of all that stuff automatically in the back end for you, which is really nice. Anyone who's been around since the early days of web design, like you literally had to build multiple sites for multiple target devices. Now you've only got to do it once, and it automatically scales to all those devices. All right, let me go back over here and flip to the next page. So on this lovely little page here, which took me ages to put together, I've got these lovely teachers who are hopefully joining us today, who have offered to just share some real examples of stuff their students have done. And Corny, seeing you were the first one here, I might start with you, my friend. So I'm just going to click on this link here and take you over to Jake's blog. Do you want to talk us through what we're looking at here?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, actually quite hilarious. I'm mobile at the moment because the Jake in the Jake's blog has finished his school exams like forever, and so we are being transported to an after exam party. So I am providing the off-seater here. So yeah, this was just a way that we wanted learners to record what they've created over the course of a couple of years in an inquiry-based learning program. So most of the projects that they would do would they'd end up creating a Google Doc. So being able to embed that in a page just made it really seamless and really great to use.
Now, Andrew,
and they
I'm
also
going to
enjoyed like
flick
the
back to the other screen here so you can talk me through it. So I can't see you anymore, but talk me through what you want to show me. And also just introduce yourself, because there's people here on this call that probably don't know what you do and where you're from and all that.
Oh yeah, so yeah, Andrew from Liga Leadership Academy. So I've just moved schools. It's a new independent school down in Queenstown. So I've been in the Google universe for a few years, Google trainer, Google innovator. And yeah, so quite exciting to be down at a new school and introducing some of these tools. And yeah, so one of the things that we need to do right now is have a platform that is going to showcase the students' work from what they've done this year. And they had an existing website program called Inkwire, but it was just like, it looked pretty, but it was just a bit fiddly to get content into. So being able to just easily import, Google Docs, Google Sheets. So if you just go to one of the inquiry pages there and just choose any one of those inquiry pages.
How about Māori?
Do you want to?
Oh, he's built a tool builder thing there. Okay, so I won't click onto that one because I don't know where that's going to take me. But what else can we go to? Let's go to innovation. What's this one?
Yeah, so basically the intention of this site was that there's a great example of a bit of a trap for kids. So, any work that the kids do, they could put it onto the website, and obviously that is a real pain point. So a learner has shared a Google Doc with you. You can see it. They can see it, but when they add it to their site, no other external user can see it. So the number of times that I've put a task back on the kid saying, "No, look, not complete. You haven't changed the share settings, so not everyone in the world can see." So
it's a really good point to mention, actually. And I'm kind of, while it's annoying I can't see the doc, it's also a good reminder that you're right, that anything a student puts into a site as the holder, all of those individual bits and pieces that are being showcased within the site, they also have to be made public, or at least to the audience that intends to view the site. Otherwise, you'll get this problem here. You'll be able to see the site, but you can't see the things in the site.
Yeah, one of the ways around that I encouraged the learners to do was to create a folder, called website or my portfolio, and then change the share settings on that folder to anyone with the link can view. So any document that they put into that folder that was on their website, they could see. Oh yeah, there's some lockdown pictures. So we did some baking in lockdown. And what was great about it, I still remember the days of Dreamweaver and almost hard coding websites, and just to have this really easy tool of drag and drop, get the content on there really easily, YouTube videos, Google Docs. And they really liked the customization. And even now, back, that was 5 or 6 years ago, the customization now is really good. I was playing around with one today, and you can pull in the school's logo. It will pick up the colors from the logo to give you the color scheme for the website. So it's just got better and better, and still super easy to use. So that's what I really like about using it as a student portfolio platform. Is kids do have a lot of customization over how it looks, the content that goes over there, and this idea of publish your work to the world. Let the world see your work, so make sure it's of your best quality.
Fantastic. All right, thanks for that, mate. I appreciate you sharing that. Mary, you are in here as well, so I'm going to jump over to yours and show this one. You want to jump in and tell us what we're looking at?
Oh, thanks, Chris. And I just wanted to shout out to you, Chris, because you were the first person to teach me about Google Sites back in the day of level 1 certification. So thank you for that. And look at me now. My name is Mary, everybody. I am lucky enough to be a Google trainer and innovator. I'm based in Byron Bay. This year I'm teaching science and technology for primary school students, and I get to work 1 day a week as a Digitech coach in the Diocese of Lismore. So my partner in crime, Joe, at school, he created this example. The students, it was a unit, as you can see, about bees. We used Makeys. Students created an interactive poster and about different aspects of the life cycle. How do we support bees to avoid extinction, etc. The students. So, and the tool, the Google site was used as a feedback tool, like an assessment for us, and then feedback, peer feedback for the students. So we uploaded their video, and then attached is a Google form where students can share and watch the video, of course, and then give their feedback on the video. Oh, there we go.
I'm going to get a lot of this, I'm sure, because I think, and it makes sense because you guys are doing things in a contained environment within your school, and that's the safe way to do it. So the fact that I can't see it in some ways is a good thing because that's how it's supposed to work. But yeah, I get the idea. So you've got a Google form there that the students then self-assess.
They can self-assess, and then they and it's great. They're able to give each other feedback, and then see what the other examples were like, because obviously sometimes students are so busy just creating their own group project, they don't see or it's always a rush to have that reflection time in the learning. It's just a simple example, but we found it really effective.
Yeah, awesome. And that's the point of this session today, is just to share some of the ways that you can use a simple tool like Sites to sort of make that thinking visible and share the learning. Whether that's a traditional portfolio or whether it's something more
like one element of it. Yeah,
exactly right. So cool, thanks for sharing that, appreciate that.
Thank you.
All right, we might jump over to Sharon. Are you in the call?
Yep, I'm here. I was a bit late, that's all.
Oh, that's all right. You want to jump in, and I'm going to pick one of yours. You want to talk us through, show us what you're looking at.
With stage 3 in term 3, I'm Sharon. I'm at Georges Hall Public School, and I basically give teachers their RFF time for curriculum reform and things. So they were doing a science unit on natural disasters. So I only had basically a 40-minute lesson once a fortnight. So that's 5 lessons. But in the research that they had to do, I got them to put it into Google Sites, because these students are probably the ones during COVID who didn't get the same level of access to technology at the time. So they've never created a Google site before. So it was just a chance to get them to present their information in something different, and to be able to share it with others and learn about the navigation, learn about presenting it well, changing the fonts, and they really enjoyed presenting the information this way rather than just in, I suppose, another Google slide that they probably usually do.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, it's nice that I'm looking here. They've used these sort of content blocks where you've got like text on one side, image on the other, so that it's got like a really nice consistency to it. The way it's presented. Plus, they figured out there's the navigation structure up the top here, so they're thinking about information hierarchy and how information is managed. So I think they're really useful skills.
And that student, if you click on the homepage, they may have worked out that you could actually link to the pages from there. Is that
from here? Yeah.
So if they click on earthquakes, does it go there? They put or on tsunami. If you click on the word tsunamis, does it go to the tsunami page?
I don't think on this one, but you've got another example. Let me go here.
Maybe. I'm just not sure, because I was looking through them.
Yeah,
I kept them underlined. Yep. So there's a link. So he worked out how to do that rather than.
Nice.
But he still got his navigation. So. And they chose the fonts. Like, I could have taught them so much more just about sites, but that was actually the science unit.
Right. Yeah.
It was, so now I've picked up a few ideas to do it better, but these were 2 pretty good examples.
It's a nice example of using technology in the subject. So this is obviously a science subject, and the focus is on the science, not on the web design.
Yeah, that's right.
Which is nice, as it should be. Yeah, that's really cool. Thanks for sharing.
For sharing. No worries. Thank you.
Jody, I think you're with us today too, yeah? Let me go over to my other page here. Jody, are you still with us?
Jody might be on the train. It looks like Jody, you're still muted there.
Can you hear me now?
There you go. Hey, Jody.
Okay. Hi, I'm on a train number 2.
Right.
Um, and
All right.
so you're on a phone. It's a very small screen, so I'll try not to talk too loudly as well, because I'm entertaining all the people around me. So Jodie McDonald, I'm the head of library and e-learning. Chris will tell you what my school name is because I don't want to say it out loud on the train.
It's St. Vincent, Potts Point.
Thank you. And the sites that we're showing you today are what are a culmination of what we call a capstone project. So the girls have finished their stage 5 learning, and we really wanted to put something together to showcase their learning and reflect on their learning over the stage. We ummed and ahed throughout the year about the product, but I'm a bit of a fan of Google Sites. So we ended up with that. So the dean created, we call a Jane Doe site. So he created one with some ideas of what they could use, and it was rolled out to all of them. And they had actually a very short amount of time to create their site. It was less than a day. And so 2 of the sites that Chris is showing you are really the top end of the scale, where the kids are so motivated and probably spent time outside those 5 periods to put their site together. But it's been designed for 2 things. That capstone, that idea of putting all their work together. But they actually had, it's part of a student-led conference. So they had conferences with their tutor teachers this week to unpack their learning from the stage and all those kind of things. And it's also going to go to the parent-teacher conference.
Nice. I love seeing the reflection on the student journey. You know, they're not only showing their work, but they're reflecting about the work, which is really.
And we were very keen to do something that went outside that whole idea of publishing and that whole idea of the skills used to put it together. And so I'm a fan of Google Sites. We've obviously published these. And a lot of the content is embedded on the page, so you don't have so many links outside. Because it was actually really hard work to get them to Chris, because the girls had actually submitted them into a classroom, and we had to unsubmit, return it back to them, to then publish them, to make public so Chris can show them today. So that whole idea, we love the idea that it was actually safe inside the domain just for teachers and fellow students to see. We really liked that idea.
Yeah, that's great, and it's nice to have that level of control where you can have it public or you can have it private or internal.
That's why I'm a fan of them. I think they're great for that. I mean, my library website is a Google site, and again, it's locked because it's my paywall for all my databases. So it's locked to school only. So you have that safety, but it means everyone can see it.
Yeah, this is awesome. So these are great examples, and I thought, like I have in the past when we've talked about sort of sites as portfolios, I've kind of shown a couple of dummy examples, but there's nothing quite like seeing real examples being done in real schools by real teachers with real students. I don't know. Matt, are you with us? Not sure if Matt's here, or Shannon. Hi, Shannon. Actually, I don't know if Shannon could be with us today.
No, I don't think Shannon and Matt are in. Because I think you highlighted a couple of things there that that are kind of worthy of drilling into. I mean, you had this idea of the fact, as Jodie was saying there, the ability to close them down or open them up as you want, share specifically with maybe a parent, for instance, of a kid, or everyone, the whole world. The ability to map a site to a specific URL as well. So if you want to do your school website as a site, you can do that. So and then that ability that, the fact that sites is only a glass pane showing what's in behind, and if nothing behind it is set to be public, sites won't change that. So if you have something that is not public accidentally in a site, the site's not going to update that and change it. So everything you've got safe and secure in the back is still going to transfer through to that published site.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, Steve. Shannon and Matt and Nathan aren't joining us today, but they did provide some examples. Oh, sorry, go back. So I'm just going to randomly just have a look at some. So this is one from Shannon. Shannon is a digital, like a multimedia teacher at a school here in New South Wales, I think up on the Central Coast. So she's shared a couple of these digital, I forget what this stands for, but it's a digital portfolio. And so you can see this student's got some 3D design and printing there, and she's showing examples of the 3D design she's done, what's come out of the 3D printer. So just a little bit of stuff about that. If I go back to the main page, what else has she got here? Oh, there's a stop motion here that I thought was pretty cool. So the student's done a little stop motion animation for Christmas, and he says Santa's stealing the tree, and the Grinch comes and brings the tree. I don't understand the story, but you can see this is all going on. This was actually done, I think it says underneath here, this was actually done using Google Slides. So she's actually just created a whole bunch of slides. You can see there's 100 frames in this little animation. So she's created 100 Google Slides and moved each one and then exported each frame out and dropped it into like a something that'll assemble it into a piece of video. So pretty neat, I think. I like that idea. What's the other one? There's another one here. Let's have a look at this one. This is another student portfolio from Claudia. Let's have a look at Claudia's coding. So you can see Claudia's been learning to code with, I don't know what that is. I don't think it's Scratch, but it's something like Scratch. And she's got examples there and showing her work. So yeah, it's a great way for students to sort of capture the work that they've done, make it public, make it something they can share with other people. I'll just hop over to Matt for a second and see. Matt is a teacher in New Zealand. He's part of the Manaikalani schools system. I don't know if system's the right word, Steve, is it? Manaikalani schools.
Yeah, cluster of schools. Yeah.
Cluster. Yeah, thank you. And so, and again, Matt's not here, so it would have been great if he could talk me through this, but I'm guessing if I click on the map, seeing here, it's going to take me to, okay, so this is like a class one here. You can see there's all the students, and if I go to, they're not links? No, I thought they'd be links, okay. Writing. It's just the class thing, sorry. Yeah, this is where I need Matt to explain things to me.
Have a look on the right. So I think down the right there, that links out to different things. So the CyberSmart program
Right.
on the right hand side will jump out to that, and then hosting all your learning resources there for the CyberSmart program they do.
Right.
Well.
Cool.
So
So,
there's a lot of this stuff here is hosting the stuff, and then Manaikalani, every kid has a blog. So what they'll do is they'll host a lot of the work here, then jump out to the kids' blogs so you can read their blogs. Maybe if you jump back one page, Chris, I think there was some links.
I was just going to mention something, Steve, before I leave this page, and that is like this is a Google Slides presentation embedded inside a site. And I know when I was still in the classroom, I would create sites for the subjects that I would teach, and I'd put a lot of the slides and stuff that I would use with students into the web page. Because what I love about this, if I just click this little button up top here, that actually then opens that slide presentation that's embedded and actually opens it full screen. So now it's actually presenting the slide deck, but because it was in the site, it sort of assembles everything into one place, but you can still show it as a sort of a full-blown slide deck if you like as well. So I just think there's so much power in being able to do that. Sorry, where did you want me to go?
If you jump back one page.
Yeah, I'll go back to the home page. How about that?
Yep. If you go Edgy Blogs on the right there.
Yep.
So then you click on one of the kids' blogs, you'll see that this is where they're posting all their learning. And part of the Manaikalani pedagogy is that kids post on a blog and then their classmates will comment on their learning. So stuff you posted, people will then have a discussion about what they liked about it and the bits of the learning that was difficult. And so this is very much the public space they're sharing it, and then obviously it's linked back there in their site as well.
Yeah, awesome. This is amazing. I've always loved the way that a lot of New Zealand schools, and in particular the Manaikalani schools, they really use the blogging idea of getting kids to document and share all of the stuff they're doing in class, not just with their teacher, but with the world.
And if you see there on the right, there's the summer learning journey. So school doesn't finish at the end of December for the Manaikalani kids. They actually have a summer learning journey over the summer break. And there are blogging challenges, there are reading challenges, there are maths challenges. And they actually continue to work right the way through summer and then come back. So there is kind of no learning slump is something they talk about here. So it's a really nice little challenge that students and teachers can be part of.
Yeah. Yeah, I like the fact that they're able to comment on each other's work. It's really powerful.
Yep.
Nice. And then finally, I think Nathan left us something here. And again, I'm not sure what this one is, but this is chatbot. Okay, I'm not sure. Let's have a look. Nathan, you're not with us, are you, mate?
So I think Nathan was looking at how to embed different some of the AI tools into a site as well. So some of this stuff I think is early explorations with embedding different types of resources and tools inside a site.
Right. Fair enough. Anyway, at the end of today's session, of course, we will share the recording from this session, and I will also share the slides. And so anyone who wants will have access to these slides, and you can sort of click through and look at some of the examples. So thank you particularly for Andrew, Jody, Mary, and Sharon for being here in person, and also for Shannon, Matt, and Nathan for sharing your stuff. Really appreciate it. All right, let's have a little quick talk about what's new with Google for Education. There's been a few things happen. As you know, we try and do this little catch up once a month. Let you know some of the important things that have changed in the last month. Let me see if I can full screen. Let's do that. There you go. So a couple of things. There has been a change to the YouTube player, and this probably won't affect too many people directly. Well, it will affect lots of people directly, but you probably can't all do something about it. But schools used to like allow YouTube.com in their allow list if they allow YouTube. We made a change a couple of months ago, and people had to change that URL to YouTubeeducation.com because we changed the way a couple of things work. As it turns out, there's been a couple of hiccups with that, so we've had to roll that back. So if your school was using YouTube and you made that change to the YouTubeeducation.com as the address, it could be that some things have stopped working. And if that's the case for you, what you need to do is just go back and re-add YouTube.com as the allow list. So sorry if that sounds complicated. Your IT people will probably know more about it than you need to know. But if you are having trouble with YouTube at all, that'll be the reason. Just want to make everyone aware of that. Steve, any other thoughts on that? I know you've been a bit involved in this side of things.
No, I mean, no, I won't add to that. I just like the way that there has been the update to YouTube, the way it works in sites and Classroom to remove the suggested videos and the ads, which a lot of you may have seen rolling out, which is pretty awesome. So some great changes to YouTube and working really closely with the Edu team.
Yep, awesome, fantastic. There is a nice little update that just got rolled out the other day. I think it's at 100% right now, so everyone should have it. If you go into your Google Classroom, you should see a new button there called Classroom Analytics. And if you click on that, you can now dig into analytics about your class. And it'll show you things like the number of assignments completed, average grade, average completion of work, and so on. So you can, every teacher will see this for their own classes. And depending on how your school leadership has set up access for the school leaders will be able to go and sort of visit other classes that they don't necessarily teach, but they might have some management over. But anyway, the important thing is you as a classroom teacher should be able to now see a whole bunch of statistics about your classes. Has anyone in the chat noticed this already or started using it? No? Okay, well, take a look because it literally only finished rolling out, I think, 2 days ago. So it is brand new, but go into Google Classroom and have a little look there. You should see a little thing in the side that says that it is now available. All right, so the next thing is smart chips for Google Docs for AppSheet. A couple of months ago, we talked about AppSheet. And I remember we had Jonathan come in, Jonathan Cochran, our resident AppSheet expert, came in and showed a couple of examples of the sorts of things you could build with AppSheet. Or maybe I did it, I can't remember now. But either way, if you build an AppSheet app, you've now got a smart chip inside Google Docs where you can embed that AppSheet app directly into your Google Doc. So think about this as now as having an app inside your doc, and you can actually sort of interactively now just work within the document using that app. It's a pretty cool idea. That is currently rolling out. If you don't have it already, you will have it very soon. And it's yet another one of the amazing smart chips that we're seeing appear in Google Docs. Speaking of things appearing in our products, you should, if you go to Google Slides now, if you go to the insert image option, one of the things you now have is the ability to add GIFs and stickers. GIFs or GIFs I don't want to argue about it. However you say it, you can add GIFs/GIFs and stickers in Google Slides now. It's directly right there inside the insert image menu. So that's pretty cool. A lot of people love their GIFs and their GIFs. This is a neat one. Google Tasks, where you'll be able to create like a to-do list of tasks. It's always been in there in Gmail, and we've expanded it and improved it a lot lately. So the tasks list thing is really good inside Gmail now. And of course, it also carries across over into Calendar. I think we've talked about in the past how you can create like check off lists inside your Google Doc, and it will automatically synchronize across to your task list. So there's a lot of really great integrations taking place now right across the whole tool set in terms of tasks. This new thing, what it is if you go to your Google Calendar, up in the top right hand corner there, you'll see up here, you now have an extra button where you can click on that, and when you click on that button, like you see in the little animation there, you can actually see all of your task lists. By default, you've only got one task list, but you can create as many as you like, and you'll be able to see them all on one page. So that, I think, is a nice productivity tip, and that's coming to the Teaching and Learning and the Plus editions of Google Workspace. Filtering by people or groups in Google Drive. Recently, we added a whole bunch of filters now. So if you're searching within Drive, you had some filters across the top where you can filter down to various parameters around the document. We've just added some new ones now where you can filter by people or groups. So if you want to see all the files that are owned by a certain person or by a certain group within your workspace domain, you can now do that as well. So that'll really speed things up when you're trying to find things in Google Drive. Google Chat is another one of those tools, and I don't know how many people are using Chat, because traditionally Chat's been kind of a lot of schools sort of aren't too sure about using Chat, but it's really become a major productivity tool inside the suite. People are now using Chat for things that they may have once done on email, because it's just faster and quicker and more immediate. So we're doing a lot of improvements to Chat. One of the things we've just added now is you can star important messages in Chat. So, if someone sends you a chat message with, I don't know, some information you need to come back to, you can now star it, and it goes into your starred collection on the side there. Much like Gmail works with starred messages as well. You now have that in Chat. And the other thing that's really neat in Chat that we're just introducing now is the ability to take action on things within Google Drive. So, for example, if someone shares a document with you in Chat, you can now do things like leave comments on the documents, resolve comments, reply to things directly inside the chat. You don't have to open the document to go and to make those comments and replies. So again, it's all about helping people speed up their workflow by bringing things together across the tool set. And that's the updates for this month, but I just want to talk about Bard updates. Steve, are you across these?
I've seen a few of them. The announcement made down the bottom left there about Bard being available for more age groups. So making it available to over 13s. Remembering, of course, it's not a core service inside Workspace for Education. It is an additional service. So if you are going to switch it on for your over 13s, you do need to get parental consent for it. Bard has been available for over 18s in your Workspace environment for quite some time now. So your teachers have access to Bard. If you go into your admin console and you look for additional services, early access features, you can switch it on there. You can allow your teachers to have it or not. And you can now decide whether your over 13s can have it or not. But as you said, additional service, not covered by the main terms of service. So yeah, it's very much a discussion with your team and also a discussion with parentals or people who look after the kids at home.
Yeah. The whole thing about Bard being available for age groups, it is in Workspace, as Steve said, it's not available to under 18s. It's just the way it is. But we're making it available now outside of Workspace. So if a student, for example, has a Gmail account, and of course they should be, I think, is it over 13 for Gmail officially, Steve?
Yeah, it is.
Yep. But so Bard's being made available for those age groups as well. But a couple of the other changes that I think are really neat. Bard's responses can now appear in real time. So there's an option inside Bard. You might recall if you've used, say, for example, ChatGPT, you might realize it sort of writes a line by line by line as it comes up with the response, whereas Bard always sort of waited until it had the whole answer and then put the whole answer up. You can now get Bard to respond in real time as well and have it sort of write, as you can see. Small change, but just it's there, just so you know.
And what that means, Chris, as well, is as you're reading it, if you think, no, this is rubbish, you can just go stop and restart. So
right.
it's basically the idea that as you're going through, you're reading it, and yeah, you can choose to end it before it gets to the end if it's going a bit wonky, or wait till the very end as well.
Right. And the other things with maths equations now, you can take a math equation and you can actually put that in, and Bard will give you step-by-step explanations on how to do that. I know, let me get out of here. I'm looking at a full screen. Have I got this still open? Let me have a look. If I go in here, I just want to show you something because I thought it was fascinating here in Bard. And I'm not going to do a live demo, but I'm just going to show you one I made earlier. Oh, no, I'm not, because I'm in a different Google account, so I can't do that. It's all right. Try and take a maths equation and just plug a maths equation in here. It's really fascinating what it comes up with. In fact, I did some really interesting things with Bard earlier. I was saying, create a sequence of numbers. You get those problems for students where they give a sequence of numbers and they have to work out what the next number in the sequence is. I tried one of those with Bard and asked it to generate me 10 questions that involve sequences and to give me an answer key and explain why it was the answer. And it's quite amazing the things it can come up with in terms of maths. But solving maths problems, I think, is going to be a really useful use for Bard. Where's my slide column? There they are. So have a look at that if you haven't played with it already.
I just chucked one in, Chris, and I said, please help me with 2x minus 4 equals 24. And it's given me the steps to solve. So it doesn't just give you the answer, it gives you the steps to solve. Now, if you've seen practice sets, you'll know there is some helpful stuff in there. And also if you've seen Google Lens, a lot of this idea of what's happening in Lens, especially taking photos, is kind of available across a lot of tools now. I think that's something we talk about quite a bit, is this stuff is across everything. So it's not just a standalone go somewhere into that thing and a standalone go somewhere into that thing. The idea of AI is it's permeating across all the tools. So you don't have to go other places for it.
Yeah. So anyway, some cool stuff there from Bard coming. If you haven't played with Bard, I do recommend you go and give it a go. It is quite an interesting Gen AI tool. All right, and that brings us to just a little reminder. Actually, a little reminder. Can I just remind you of this again? We talked about the back to school thing in January. So January 19 and January 22. With maybe some optional homework in the middle if you want to do it, but we'll mainly be talking about how we design learning for technology-enabled classrooms. So if you're interested in that, there's the QR code or the other address there, bit.ly/Google-BTS 2024. So please give it some thought if you want to join us and spread that around. Let your colleagues know as well. We have been doing this. Thank you. We've been doing this webinar pretty much every month for the last couple of years, but we'd really love some feedback on what we might do for next year. So I've got a link there, bit.ly/LWG23_feedback, or you can scan the QR code. That's probably the easiest thing. And there is a survey there just to ask you some thoughts about what you want from this webinar going forward. Like, do we even continue doing this webinar going forward? And if we do, what sort of things do you want? Has it been useful? What's working? What's not working? Really, we need that sort of feedback so we can make sure we're serving the needs of you guys. So if you wouldn't mind doing that, we would really appreciate it. I will email that link out to everybody anyway, but that'd be great if you could just have a go at filling that feedback form out. As always, we record all of these and then we put them up on a YouTube playlist. So if you want to visit the playlist, it's there at bit.ly/learn-with-Google-rewatch. What was that, Steve?
Jody said, please continue.
Okay.
Great feedback.
Oh, okay. And of course, if you want a PD certificate, as usual, you can just fill it out there, bit.ly/GFE certificate, and it's an honour system. But fill that form in, and the little hamsters running on the wheels will automatically generate one for you and send it to you immediately. And that wraps us up. So I'm going to just throw back to anyone, if anyone has any thoughts or questions about today or in
Andrew
general.
Corney has politely raised a hand.
Yeah, thank you, Steve. I'm not sure if can you hear me okay? I'm just still mobile.
Yep.
Is that
Yep, you're good.
Hey, just a quick question, and I'm not sure if you've covered this. I just had to drop some kids off. The process for getting Duet in Workspace. It seems there's a sign up or a trial, and something about pricing.
Yeah, so at the moment there is a sign up for access form, and basically that will be sent through to the appropriate local team once it becomes available for you. So it's slowly rolling out, and yeah, if you sign up for that, someone will get back in touch with you about how to get it and all that sort of stuff.
Now, I'll just clarify for anyone in the call who might not be totally across what that's about, but Duet AI is our generative AI tools that is built directly inside Workspace. So we've talked about Bard and things like that, which are standalone generative AI tools that you can go and use. Duet AI will be those tools, or not specifically those tools, but tools like those tools embedded directly inside Workspace. And I'll let you do things like generate text content directly inside a Google Doc, or to get assistance with a spreadsheet, or if you're not sure how to write a formula, that it can step in and actually help you work out formulas in a spreadsheet. It can create backgrounds and images for you inside Google Slides. So there is all of those things wrapped up inside Workspace that we're calling Duet AI. It will be an additional feature on top of the standard sort of Workspace offering. So just be aware of that. But if you'd like to play with it in the meantime, right now, if you go to labs.google.com, and maybe Steve, if you could drop that in the chat for me, just labs.google.com with your Gmail account. So not with your school Workspace account, but with a Gmail account. Go to labs.google.com, scroll down the page a little bit, and you'll see there's a section there where you can sign up for to be part of the beta testing for Duet AI inside your Gmail account.
So sorry, just to clarify, so in Workspace, it's currently about to be released as a trial, likely with pricing per user to follow.
Correct.
Yeah, so you can sign up to trial it. I think that's still open. I'm not. We'll check that one.
Yeah, it is. I checked the website today. It says you click this link to contact your local country.
That's it. Yeah. So once it becomes available in the country, you'll get. So it will be an additional cost, and it is a per user cost. So if there's 2 people that want to get it, you can do 2. You don't have to do 100 users as a minimum or something like that. You can do 1 or 2.
Yep. I'm just seeing we could be talking about almost anything from this point. I'm just going to stop the recording, but feel free. We can keep the conversation going.